And we're live.
Booty whiskey.
It's booty whiskey.
Yeah.
Matchstick Men.
Matchstick Men. Dude, that movie it took me by surprise.
Yeah, you got, huh?
I got conned.
Yeah.
Some might even say.
It's one of those movies. It's sort of like a Catch Me If You Can type of movie where there was another recent one that I saw that was good. I like a good con man movie.
Sure. Especially when they're tricking me too. That's fun.
Yeah.
And I get got. I'll take it.
It's fun. I was watching it for the second time, so I knew what was coming. And I was looking for if there were any like giveaways or clues. And I think the movie did a pretty good job of not giving anything away too easily.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't see any of it.
You and Kaylin both.
I thought that was
the
his
twist
daughter.
caught you.
Yeah, well, we should talk about the plot probably real quick.
Dear listener, there's a twist.
A big one, even.
My name is Patrick William. I'm your host. I am a convenience store cashier who gives out financial advice and has recommendations for lottery numbers if you need them.
Very cool.
It's a really cool job. It's actually more of a career path.
Yeah, you could stay on that forever.
Yeah, job sort of undersells what I do.
I'm that co-host, as you know, Austin Jenny. I actually, I'm just a skeevy black market money exchange guy, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, there's nothing more to it.
Take $1 out.
Get two back, dude.
1.75 sterling pounds on
Yeah, that's what I do in my spare time when I'm not here with jib-jabbing with you.
There's a lot of money in that.
Yeah. I'm loaded.
It's another good career field. There's a lot of room for growth.
Yeah. As much as you want. Oh, so, Matchstick Men. It's a good movie.
The year's 2003.
Gross.
Were directed by Ridley Scott, who oddly enough, I only associate with sci-fi.
For sure. I think Alien and Raised by Wolves and other stuff.
I'm pretty ignorant to his ways, but this didn't seem like a Ridley Scott movie to me.
No. I mean, especially with like just the normal camera work that I've seen in those other two specific films.
Yeah.
Just not even close. But that's okay. It was still good. It was fun.
He should probably fire the editor.
Yeah, dude. Just the overall, the PowerPoint-esque editing.
The transition, the wipes, the swipes and stuff. Just like, this is not good.
No, it was made in Microsoft.
Yeah, Paint.
Yeah, MS Paint, baby.
That Paint transition.
Yeah.
It was pretty ridiculous. They did a lot of like sped up, fast editing.
Yeah.
I think to like represent the state of his mental state.
Yeah.
Like what it feels like having OCD.
Yeah.
And Tourette's maybe. It was unclear if he had any actual mental illness or if it was
just a no.
If it was just what's the word for it? Like psychosomatic?
I think so.
Where your body is feeling things because of your mind or something like that. But yeah, his OCD in the movie.
Yeah.
He always closes the door 3 times. 1, 2, 3.
Just generally like a phobic person, It seems like it kind of is malleable compared to what situation is going on in his life. Almost
He's afraid of light, too much light.
Sometimes.
Being outside
sometimes
makes him nervous. So he's like maybe agoraphobic.
Yeah. That's a nasty one, man. That sucks to deal with.
Totally. I like being outside.
I do too, almost all the time, except for when there's a lot of bugs.
This is a man who eats albacore tuna out of a can for dinner.
Every night, it seems.
His refrigerator is filled only with tuna cans, water bottles,
skim milk,
and skim milk. That's it. Those were the 3 items.
Yeah.
His shelves are just chock full of cleaning supplies, paper towels, dusters.
He smokes a lot of cigarettes.
Every scene.
Yeah, I would say so. At least.
He's always smoking a cigarette.
Chain smoking. And it's just like to deal with his stuff, I guess, but it doesn't seem to help. I don't know.
He's got a very nice house with well-maintained carpet. That's because you have to take your shoes off at the door, and he vacuums it like every hour.
Yeah, that first cleaning montage that we get into is pretty good.
Yeah. So, why is this important? Because this is a man of details.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, his whole life is details.
He plans everything out, which really helps him as a con artist, or a matchstick man, which we learned is another word for that in this movie.
Did we learn why that's the word for that?
No, he's just listing off words for his trade when he's explaining to his daughter. He's like, yeah, con man, I prefer a con artist. He says something, blah, 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 matchstick man. He's just giving a list of all these like words for what he does.
Weird. That
I had never heard that one.
feels old-timey.
Yeah, that's very like 1950s. Like,
Yeah, definitely. Or even pre, you know.
Edgar Hoover is probably like, a couple of matchstick men down there. Hey, he's also Irish. I don't know if you knew that about him.
No, I did not.
But yeah, he throws his tuna cans away by first putting on plastic gloves and then sealing the can in a Ziploc bag.
So he's...
Then putting it in his trash can to contain the smell, I think.
He loves tuna that much that he's eating it every day, but he can't even deal with like the juice. What
Or
are you
the
talking about?
smells,
So
like, yeah.
it's so potent. You wouldn't escape it if you just put the fucking
It's
can
still
in a
in
bag.
your air.
You're
It's getting in the
eating it,
carpet.
Oh, yeah. Well, tuna con man, stealing fish.
It's an albacore. You can't fight it. This movie had pretty high levels of Nick Cage.
Yeah,
Cage levels were early and pretty raucous.
yeah, like a really well built oak cage is what I'm going.
Yeah, like a
Proper assembly, dude.
like an old growth fir,
Oh yeah. Definitely.
like a nice coastal redwood.
Wow, that's expensive.
It's an expensive cage, but I'm gonna give it at least a 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Low 4, anywhere between.
I
anywhere
think
there.
the fact that he's playing a character with OCD tics really
Just freedom.
helps like lean into the Cage factor.
Definitely.
Because he's just moving his face and hands and his vocals are up and down.
Yeah.
He's always like, oh.
I don't. So yeah, I wanted to get into this. I don't think he did a very good job portraying
For
Tourette's
sure not.
or OCD.
For sure not.
Yeah.
That was like
Pretty kind of like distasteful, even a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, this is."
I think it was a pretty surface level.
Yeah.
Let's put understanding in scare quotes of what those mental illnesses are all about.
No shit.
It was like a comic book version of those things.
Yeah, it's like
1, 2, 3.
It's like
1, 2, 3.
It's like when Cartman figures out he can have Tourette's on
Yeah.
South Park, dude. It's so
Yeah, it was pretty silly.
very much so. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah. Dude, yeah, the weird, the ums or whatever the hell he's doing.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a lot. That is too much
yeah.
for sure.
It was just when he was getting overwhelmed by a moment, he would just say that a lot to break up the scene and give
Yeah.
himself time to think, I think. But
Yeah.
it was not, let's say, not realistic.
Definitely not. Though this movie was, I still do think it was a good movie. It definitely, it had me in my feels a little bit too.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
a fun little flick. It's got charm. It's got heart.
Yeah. Actress killed it. She did a really good job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's great.
Yeah.
I don't know her name,
Me neither.
but I recognize her face from a few things
Yeah.
in the 2000s. But yeah, I guess let's start with the basics here for our audience's sake.
Absolutely.
We are starting with a character who is essentially just like, at first it seems like maybe he's just a shady salesman.
Yeah, just kind of a skis bag.
Yeah, the kind of guys who call you on the phone and sell you bullshit products.
specifically to like elderly people too.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely targeting vulnerable people.
Yeah. So he calls this old lady and he sells her, or his partner sells her a product over the phone, and then they send a courier to go drop it off and get payment, etc. But then The plot thickens
they
when
continue the scam.
they continue the scam by posing as investigators of their own crime and going in and saying, well, did you give the check through the postal service and she's like, no, we handed it off in person. He's like, oh, that's too bad because, if you had mailed the check, then it would be post office fraud and we could investigate this further, but there's nothing we can really do unless. And they're like, what do you mean unless? And then they come up with some bullshit about how they need to look into his accounts and they can follow the money if they have the account numbers. And they rip the husband off next for all their savings, which is the real scam. And
this is the sort of shit that makes it clearly look and sound dated. Because this is not the way scams work anymore.
No, it's not. All. Now you just get a text at 8 a.m. and it's like, hi, Michelle. You missed our date. Do you want to reschedule? And you're like, my name's not Michelle. And this foreign person was just like, oh, it's either a Russian guy or a Nigerian guy or an Indian guy.
Yep.
And they send you pictures of a Chinese girl. And they're like, I'm so horny for you. And you're like, great.
Awesome. Dude, good for them. Exploiting the world. I like it.
Yeah. In 2003, you could just sort of like finesse people out of their bank account details. Because the internet, that's just a fad. I don't understand how that's working.
What a comment, dude.
He said, wait, what was the full quote? Oh, yeah. That internet thing. It's a fad. I can't figure it out. So ridiculous.
It'll go away.
It was just starting, huh? Mm-hmm. It was very early 2000s. The partner had quite an outfit.
Yeah.
When he comes over for the first time.
For sure.
Looked like Ashton Kutcher might dress on MTV in like the punked era. Like a backwards Kangol hat like he's fucking Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, he really didn't pull that off well.
A really gaudy shirt. Ill-fitting shirt, too. It's like too small on the shoulders.
Just got to look tight.
Low-cut jeans on a man.
Awesome. I want to see the roots. I got to see that dick root. Otherwise, I'm not here for it.
Ridiculous wardrobe, dude. The 2000s were rough.
Yeah, they were.
The further we get away from them, because I grew up in that era.
Yeah.
But the further we get away from them, the more they seem as ridiculous as the 80s and 90s.
For sure. It's just in its own way.
Yeah. Just absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, every freaking decade, man. Even when you look at like the 2010s now, it's like, oh no.
It's just when you're in them, they seem so normal.
Exactly. You're living
and the other ones seem weird.
Yeah.
It's like when I was in the late 90s, early 2000s as a kid, it was like the 80s that seemed so freakish.
I'm sure. Yeah, disco and all that shit.
But yeah, now that we're in 2024, looking at the early 2000s, we're like, dude, that is just as ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
The frosted tips, like Justin Timberlake era.
Oh, God.
The NSYNCers.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ.
The new grunge people.
So his partner picks up on the fact that he's off his meds and he's going through a lot of episodes of this OCD stuff.
Being really insensitive about it, too.
Yeah, he's like an asshole.
Yeah.
Not taking his shoes off after he said he would, so that's just a straight up lie.
Yeah.
And then he's like, can you wipe off the phone? And he's like, oh, how about this? He wipes it on his ass and dick.
Yeah. Really, it's all pretty horrible shit.
Really juvenile, like middle school shit. This is a man with a problem.
Yeah, if that guy's actually like mentally ill and this is your buddy, this is your one friend.
Yeah.
It's just
true piece of shit here.
Yeah. And that follows through.
It does.
Yeah.
So his partner hooks him up with a therapist because we got to work together and this isn't working out. You need help.
You're crazy.
Yeah. Goes to the therapist, ends up telling him about his old relationship, and the therapist recommends maybe like you reconnect with your ex-wife because maybe it will help with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And he can't bring himself to do it and asks the therapist if he could reach out for him. Is that your belly?
That was literally in here.
That's the pasta, dude.
Yeah, that was the pasta making some noises.
We made a delicious Italian red sauce.
So fucking
all
good,
the fixins.
Man. All the fixins. Garlic bread.
A massive cheese. Massive pillow of microplaned grana padano. Mwah.
Chef kiss. Yeah.
Sausage.
Yeah, dude. Spicy Italian.
So the therapist calls his wife for him, and he's like, yeah, your wife doesn't want to see you, but guess what? You got a kid. You got a daughter.
You got a daughter, Angela.
And she wants to meet you.
Angelina?
Angela?
Yeah.
Angie.
Let's
just go with Angie. I think it was
He
Angela.
said that at some point. So yeah, Angie.
Ange.
Hey, Ange.
Oh, Ange.
I missed you.
Oh, my Angela. What a wonderful world this is becoming with you in it.
Do you want some chocolate, my Angela?
How many of these cigarettes are you going to have today? I'm going to have the whole pack. He meets Angela at a park.
It's a little weird. It's a little creepy.
He's like sitting there in his car, chain smoking cigarettes, like watching teenagers play.
Yeah, looking at kids.
Because he knows she's 14. That's all he knows about her. And he's supposed to meet her there. So he's just like awkwardly looking at all these teenagers. Teenage girls.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It was a weird vibe.
It was. He waves at some of them. They're like,
yeah, and they're like, ah. And then he's like, oh. And like, looks away and rips his cigarette harder. Like, that's super weird.
Yeah, that was an uncomfy scene.
But they meet, and, you know, she's kind of just like a likable girl.
Yeah, likable. Seems innocent. Skateboarding. It's fun. Yeah.
She's skateboarding. She doesn't get along too well with her mom, but her mom's all she's got. So she sort of seems like she's latching onto this new dad thing like pretty quickly.
Very much so.
Because he's like an outlet from the mom. It's like a way to escape a little bit. So it's like, let's get some dad time up in here.
Yeah.
And they become sort of fast friends. It's a shock to his system because she's messy and a teenage girl, and he's OCD, and everything has to be in the right place. And
yeah, that would be a horrible combination.
It's scary. He takes some time to adjust, getting ice cream and pizza instead of his like basil spaghetti.
Yeah, that spaghetti, dude. Yeah, we made spaghetti. They ate spaghetti.
Yeah,
movie was meant to be.
We went over the whole like, you got to throw it on the cabinet, and if it sticks, it's done. And then they did that in the movie.
Yeah, I really thought you were just being a lying piece of shit.
No.
I
never bullshit when it comes to food.
All right, well, now I know, and I'll be throwing my pasta everywhere.
Yeah. Something to do with the glutens, man.
Cool.
When they're ready, they stick.
Cool. I'm gonna. You might get hit with a little pasta at some point.
I think it works with rice too, so make sure you throw a lot of rice balls at Neil.
Oh, and all of them.
Basically, a few days go by, and she starts digging around in all his cabinets and rooting around in his sock drawer, and finds his secret stash of cash and a gun.
In the dog.
In the bulldog.
Get the big bad dog.
He's got a porcelain dog.
Yeah.
He's got a thing for dog statues.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's weird.
I've never been a fan of those tiny little statues that old people collect. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, my grandma had like all of them, and they were all pigs.
Yeah, dude, yeah, there's every possible thing. Angels, pigs, corn.
They're always in a theme. Like people who collect, they always end up with these collections of like themed items.
Yeah. And old items just kind of suck, you know? Like,
yeah, it's just no good.
It's not.
But you know, he's trying to hide the fact that he's a con man from her.
Of course.
Because
wants to be a responsible dad.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah. He's been a dad for 2 days. So he's like, I might as well not tell her I'm a con man. He says he's like an antiques dealer.
Yeah, it's the shadiest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, not believable. She pushes him about the gun and the money. He breaks down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And she pushes him again, and he breaks down again into, like, fine, I'll show you how to con.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to teach you everything I know.
Cuts to them in the car. He's like, the first rule is, fuck, I don't remember the rules. I'm a terrible con man. Yeah. The second rule is you don't write anything down.
And they got there with that fucking horrible edit too. That should not be
the Microsoft Paint.
that should not be in a movie.
No,
Any
it's like one of
movie.
those old Star Wars screen wipes that's like really tacky.
Yeah. I would be annoyed if I saw this in like a 2000s Nickelodeon show.
It's like a PowerPoint page turn.
I just
The whole frame like spins and rotates away.
they always do it like just like mid
It's in the middle of the scene.
mid-scenes. Yeah,
The scene's not even resolving, and they're just like, boop.
new direction.
Ridley Scott made this movie.
I don't believe he had anything to do with that part. He shot it and was like, I'm done. I'm out.
He handled the camera work, and that editor needs to be fired.
Yeah.
One piece of advice he gives her in the car: make sure the person you're conning isn't conning you. Bum, bum, bum.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, he's getting conned.
Yeah, no shit. That's the whole goddamn plot.
Yeah. So let's not beat around the bush.
No, exactly.
The daughter's fake.
Yeah, everything's fake.
It's a long con by the partner.
Yeah.
And the partner sets up the therapist, who is a fake therapist.
Mm-hmm.
The therapist, in their first session, fishes for information.
Yep.
And finds out about this old relationship that was like 15 years ago.
Yep, with a pregnancy that they didn't know what the circumstance was.
And he's like, that's the perfect hook.
Yep.
And he lies about calling the ex-wife, and he invents the daughter and injects her into his life. Yeah. So the daughter character, the therapist, and his partner, all three of them are scamming together.
Yeah, and that context, like thinking about the interactions between the daughter and the dad, uncomfortable. Don't like it. Thinking about it again, not my favorite. She's like giving him like little kisses on the cheek and stuff. It's just like
weird.
Yeah.
Well, and at the time you think she's 14.
Exactly. And then,
but she's not 14.
No.
Even in the context of the movie, she's not 14.
Yeah.
She's something like 18 or 19. We don't have her real age, but like at the end of the movie you see her with her boyfriend and I'm moving into an apartment.
Yeah.
She's clearly like dressed her age. And
she's all
looks
done
like
up. It's wearing a dress.
She looks like a young adult woman.
Yeah,
like
100%.
we don't know if she's like 19 or something like that. But
yeah.
She's not 14. She was acting like a child, and he wanted to believe it. And he has this thing he goes back to where he's like, I never took anything from anyone. They gave it to me. That's like the essence of being a con artist. And that's sort of what's happening with him here. Like she's just dressing like a child, acting like a child, and he wants to believe that he has a daughter so badly that he's overlooking the fact that she actually does not look 14.
No, like not really at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like, you look back at her face, and you're like, it's
a grown up.
It's an adult woman.
Exactly. Yeah, her face is grown. You can tell that face is not going to mature anymore than
exactly
getting old.
Yeah. So it's sort of an interesting dynamic when you're watching it for the second time.
I bet.
You're listening to the conversations, and you can kind of tell that it's duplicitous, actually. Like she's digging her little hooks in emotionally and then pulling away, or like creating an entry point into a conversation that gets him talking about one thing, and then she can pivot it into the cons or like the career. None of it is real, or like none of it is genuine. It's all like contrived so that she can drive the conversation or the relationship towards her goals. And same with the sessions with the therapist.
Yeah.
The therapist is saying things like, well, I think the best thing to do with your daughter is just be as open and honest as possible. Yeah. Tell her everything.
Tell her everything.
Because he's driving the con forward. So it's interesting watching it with that knowledge and listening to the details of the conversation and seeing the ways that he's being manipulated.
I bet.
That you just miss it the first time because you're just watching it with innocent eyes.
For sure. I really was like, this is a good, cute bonding movie.
Yeah. It's really got all like the sort of the storyline beats of a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Except it's not romance, it's daughter, father, but it's like that sort of relationship building stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Getting to know each other, pizza dates, bowling dates,
ice cream, all that
a
stuff.
fight here, crying there, makeup, go on another date together.
Con the shit out of some people.
Yeah.
Normal father-daughter shit.
Yeah,
you know?
con some innocent woman with a fake lottery ticket scam at the laundromat.
And then pay the money back. Yeah, that was silly.
He does make her give the money back because what kind of father would he be?
A con artist, criminal father.
One who's getting scammed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. It was a good fucking movie, you know?
I like it.
I wanted to bring up one thing.
What?
It's important. It's that thin, wispy hair.
That deep receded hairline.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, let's do a hairline check.
Yeah, bad.
It's 2003. It's looking thin.
So thin.
Deeply receded widow's peaks.
And we had just watched Gone in 60... No, we watched... Gone in 60 Seconds was in our repertoire recently.
Yes.
You know? And that was in 2000.
That was only 3 years earlier, and his hair was looking thick.
Fucking magnificent, full, and luscious.
Blonde and radiance, also full and thick. Really good.
Yeah, many C's on that
Those
thing.
plugs fell out.
Or were ripped out or something, man.
His lotions were redacted.
He had to sell them so he could afford another dinosaur skull.
Another New Orleans pyramid tomb.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened, but I mean, you know, he still pulls it off. He still looks like a wizened man.
Yeah, he has that sort of classic middle-aged white guy businessman look down pretty good, where he puts on a button-up shirt and like the fake glasses. Like he looks like my dad looked in the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, but my dad had less hair.
Nice.
Yeah.
Win. W.
Yeah. Just commit, Cage.
Yeah, seriously.
Shave the tops, keep the sides. It's like the headband of hair.
He has that in that new Dream Scenario movie.
Ooh, we got to see that.
I know.
When's the release date?
That one's out. That one's on HBO.
Wait, which one is coming to theaters soon?
I cannot. Oh, the Arcadia.
Oh.
It's an end of the world one. I think it's in theaters right now.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
I thought Dream Scenario was the one that was coming out soon.
That's on HBO currently. That's the one, that everyone dreams about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's out right now.
Did this just become a 17-episode series?
We could. I mean, it's very recent and it looks crazy.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
And there's one in theaters right now?
Yeah. We could just cut Lord of War.
Yeah, just push straight into Mandy next week. And
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord of War's fine. I've seen it a couple times.
It's fine, but it's...
What are we
pass-overable.
What are we gonna get from Lord of War that we haven't gotten from something else?
Right. Wicker Man already did that.
I know. I say we add Dream Scenario on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snap decision.
Bam.
It's done.
You heard it here.
So his doctor is giving him fake medication.
Yeah.
What the fuck
was that?
It was literally
Fem.
soy boy fem meds. It's like estrogen, like soy pills.
What the fuck?
The doctor gets busted by him because he takes those pills to a pharmacist to try to get like a over-the-counter prescription, which is illegal. I mean, it turns out it's not because they're not medication. But
yeah,
he's just trying to sort of strong-arm the guy. He's like, just give me the meds. And he's like, these aren't meds. This is supplements. These are like healthcare supplements over in that aisle. He goes and looks at them. They're like soy feminine estrogen pills or something like that. He takes them to the doctor, and the doctor's like trying to backpedal and cover his tracks by saying things like, you don't really need medication. I was giving you these as a, what's the term?
Placebo?
A placebo type of thing.
Yeah.
You were fine, right? And he is right about that.
He is, but he's also a piece of shit.
He's also not giving him meds because he's not a real doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's feeding him estrogen pills to make him into his bitch.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Dominance.
Cuck.
Cuck.
Big cuck energy.
Huge, massive, shrinky cuck energy.
You've been shrink cucked by a 14-year-old
You've been
fake daughter.
shrugged.
You Scott. Yes, it happened.
God damn it, dude.
So that was pretty funny. It's literal soy boy meds.
Yeah, it is. And that's ahead of the game.
Yeah, the soy boy meme wasn't even out yet.
Exactly. That's
the soy jack.
Did Nick Cage create the soy boy meme?
This is another one.
Tip of the spear.
He's the tip of the cultural spear.
We've been saying this kind of. If we haven't, we're saying it now.
Yeah.
Nick Cage is the tip of the cultural spear. Everything he does creates ripples in space and time, and we are here to analyze it for you.
He's pretty much the vanguard of the 21st century. In like every way. Every way. Like anything you can point at today that you like.
Anything.
I'll bring it back to Nicolas Cage for you.
Of course.
Within 5 steps. It's that easy.
Dude.
Because he's just that influential.
Yeah.
That's the thing that people don't understand.
They don't see all the hidden strings.
The red strings behind the scenes. So they do this like scam at the airport.
Yeah.
Where they have this guy that they met at a strip club. And they're doing this money exchange scam where Nick Cage brings him like British pounds because he's working at this like exchange bank and he skims them off the top. And then this guy trades for American money because he's earning on the exchange rate. And then Nick Cage doesn't have to get exposed by the bank for continuously exchanging this money. That's the grift.
Yeah. Dollar bill, y'all.
And so they start small and they bait this guy, his greed, into going for bigger amounts. They get him up to $80,000 and then they go to the airport to try to make like a big exchange. He pushes the deadline up, so then he has to improvise and bring his daughter instead of this homeless guy they were going to use as a distraction. Homeless hobo Earl. Just funny, dude.
You're not allowed to call them hobos anymore, man.
Yeah, no, you have to be. He even corrects him in the movie because the one guy is like, "Oh, hobo Earl." He's like, "Yeah, homeless Earl."
Oh shit, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's PC.
Sweet.
Tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear, Trebek.
It's a little slap.
The daughter makes a big scene, distracts him, and during the exchange, he switches the briefcase for an empty one.
Real quick with it, too.
Thus, at the end of the scene, walking away with both bags of money.
Huge.
Immediately gets busted.
Yeah.
The guy checks the bag like after he leaves the area, ends up chasing them out in the parking lot. They barely escape in their car. Through this slow ticket lady. God, giving them all the change. He's like, keep the change. He's like, I cannot accept gratuities.
No gratuities on my acceptance.
On my acceptance. I'm dreaming of a white acceptance.
Yeah, she's not adept.
She's not speedy.
No, definitely not.
She's no sense of urgency. But they escape. Yeah. And
it's really no big deal.
It's not a big deal at all. It never catches up to them.
Until like 5 scenes later.
When they come home and he's just in the living room. Got the partner. He's got a beat up face. Yep. He's got a gun.
Yep.
He's like, why don't you take a seat?
Is that what he sounded like? Take a seat.
He's like, hey, why don't we all just take a seat?
Everybody take
Have
a seat.
Chat. Get my money. No, he's actually quite upset. He's got a gruff voice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of yelling.
Yeah, you're gonna start your first payment to me, and you're gonna give me 50% of what you make. You're not done.
He's like, but I'm retired. He's like, you're not retired.
You're just dipping your toes in the water.
Yeah. If you're gonna get wet, you might as well swim.
I don't like that.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
The daughter says that earlier.
Yeah.
And then he says the opposite later. So when he asks the daughter if she wants to get some food, she's like, I'm not really hungry, but sure. And then they go get sandwiches and she houses a full sandwich.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought you said you weren't hungry. She's like, well, if you're going to get wet, might as well go for a swim. Meaning if you're in for a little, you're in for the lot.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Then at the end of the movie, she's talking about like regretting doing the job against him, acting all sad. And he's like, well, if you're going to take a swim, you're going to get wet. And like, I don't see the connection. It's like you just flipped the order of the words, but does it have a second meaning? It's like now you took the swim, so now you're wet. Like, is that the regret?
I don't know. I think some of the writing on this movie was a little haphazard.
A little iffy.
It was just like,
Like, I think the writing of the plot was solid.
Yeah.
The writing of the story, I'd say.
Some of those individual
some of the
moments.
The dialogue
Yeah.
wasn't super strong.
Yeah.
That 2000s sensibility was just like a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't my... I hate to say it. Nick Cage doesn't really seem like the loving father type. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just like in a movie, like even... I just can't think of a single other movie where he even is a father. But,
Wicker Man.
Yeah, it's still pretty
loving dad.
Is he?
Risks it all.
Yeah, he doesn't know that that's his daughter, though.
But he finds out.
Yeah, he does. I don't know. It's just kind of... I know it's not supposed to be creepy, but it felt a little creepy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. It's not like he was being over, like, sexual in any way,
no.
ever. It's just like he's just not good at being a dad.
But here's the problem with casting. We looked this up. With casting a 23-year-old actress to play a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She's inherently a sexually mature woman.
Yeah. True.
That you're looking at with your eyeballs.
Yeah.
In the context of the story, she's a 14-year-old girl.
It just doesn't seem like that at all.
And it's just like, am I weird or is she attractive? Like, and it's just like you're watching it with your brain for one thing, but then your subconscious is just seeing a different thing. Absolutely. And you're like, this isn't a child. So then all the interactions between her and these other men are just like weird feeling. Yeah. It's like this isn't actually. It doesn't feel right.
It really takes you out of the movie when I think about it like that, Because, if you're going to have, like, that father-daughter relationship be the cornerstone of your movie, you should probably find an actress who's actually that age or looks a little closer, And
I do get, and I wrote this down because I do find it interesting. I do get that in the context of the movie, she isn't 14.
Of course.
She's scamming. Yeah. So, like, she is supposed to be a bit older.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we were thinking maybe 18 or 19 playing as 14.
Not
the actress is 23.
Yeah, not 9 years older.
Right. It's a big difference.
Huge. You're an adult or you're not.
Much bigger difference. Yeah. It's a much bigger difference even than one that would work in the context of the story that we're seeing. Which is like, that's just a Hollywood problem.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's really hard to work with kid actors,
It is, yeah.
Totally different timing, everything.
But presumably this is like kind of the perfect movie to do it because it's totally non-sexual. There's not even like usually where the high school actors have problems is in like the high school comedies that are raunchy.
Yeah,
and there's sex, like things like Superbad or American Pie.
Yeah.
Where like you're filming teenagers fucking each other or like, like that type of stuff where you actually need the actors to be over 18.
For sure.
To actually make that movie. They just can't be kids.
That brings all of its own questions as well.
Right.
Like, why are we making movies about teenagers having sex,
Well, because teenagers like movies and it's just... Of course. Everyone was a teenager once.
Of course. I know.
It's funny. But
it is. Some of them.
But you can't actually film teenagers doing stuff like that.
Truth.
So the Hollywood problem is like, well, we need to use adults. That's why all the kids in high school movies
look 35.
Like, they're like,
especially in old high school movies.
They're like adults in their mid-20s.
like dazed and confused.
It's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. So I was when I was reading the synopsis of this movie, it seemed to be talks a bit about parenthood being one of like the main problems it was tackling. I just didn't really think it did.
Barely.
Like at all. Like the synopsis made it as like one of the main points. It just didn't. in my opinion.
I feel like maybe that's a safe way of not spoiling the twist. Because if you make it more about the con aspect of the story, maybe you're revealing a bit too much or something.
You'll see into it. Because it's potent in the sense that I didn't know,
Yeah. And the fact that he's a con man isn't necessarily central to the story at first. Mm-hmm. It's what he does. And it's maybe like an interesting way that he can relate to his daughter by teaching her little cons or something. But it doesn't become like a major plot point for
80% of the fucking movie.
Yeah, until the airport scene where like they sort of get caught by that guy and he like, breaks into their house and she's involved and now it's like dragging everyone into this.
Yeah, just that cascade event
scene. But up until then, it is more about him as a struggling person who then has a daughter thrust into his life and doesn't know how to deal with it. Yeah. He's like, okay, I've got to change my habits. I can't be OCD. She's messy. I have to figure out how to compromise.
Yeah, they really should have delved more into that, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty surface level.
For sure. I mean, but then again, a lot of the things in this movie were pretty surface level. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a good feeling movie overall. I'm probably going to give it like a 6.5. Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe like a low 7, but like.
Well, those transitions are gonna knock a whole point.
Oh God, dude.
Knock a whole point off.
Yeah, just like the camera work overall was fine. There's nothing memorable.
It wasn't special, but it was serviceable. But the editing was tough. Oh.
Yeah, the music was completely forgettable.
The acting was mids.
Yeah. But it still left it still gave me a little something to chew on.
Yeah.
So you can't be completely mad at it.
I mean, I think the girl's acting was good. Yeah. And Nick Cage's was all right.
Had good moments.
Despite his sort of shit, like a lack of research or like sincerity when it came to the mental illness
Whenever
stuff.
He wasn't trying to display tics, I thought he was doing pretty okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of being a general weirdo.
He did a serviceable Cage acting performance.
For sure.
That we've come to expect.
Yeah. Maybe even a little too cagey in some spots.
Yeah, some pretty big bursts of yelling and stuff and hand gesturing.
Yeah, and they always would seemingly come out of nowhere. He'd just be like in a sentence and then just, what did I do? It's like,
right.
Well...
And maybe that's part of his character, how he's interpreting having like the Tourette's or the OCD and stuff like that.
Lazy.
But yeah, it just came across as like Nick Cage just having an excuse or like a blank check to just like do Cage things. Just like shake his head and make a sound. Like, move, fling his arm out.
Yeah. Hey, mama.
Elvis hands at you.
Throw that one way back.
So final twist, he ends up getting like beaten by this guy after they like almost escape. Everyone gets out except him, and he gets like beaten by the guy they conned. Yeah. Wakes up in an emergency room.
Little
hospital room. And there's 2 detectives asking him a bunch of questions, interrogating.
Handcuffs on.
He's cuffed to his hospital bed.
Nate.
And he asks for his therapist instead of his lawyer. Oddly enough.
I'd like to talk to my therapist, please.
I don't remember his rationale for that or if he even had one.
I don't know. He was all fucked up, and the shots after that was weird.
Yeah.
When he's talking to the cops and like time's moving kind of fast. It's like 1.25 or some shit.
Like very disorienting.
Yeah, I did not like that very much. But yeah. And then we learn after the fucking therapist comes and he gives him his bank number because he's an idiot.
He gives him the bank number so the therapist can get money to his daughter, who he believes at this present moment is like on the run for her life from this maniac that they conned. Because that guy is a dangerous man and he's probably in on the con too, huh?
It kind of seemed like it. Seemed like it to me.
Right.
Just to amp up the total money amount.
And that brings the full circle point home. Make sure the person you're conning isn't conning you. But yeah, he gives away his bank like safe. It's like a safety deposit box where he keeps all his cash.
Yeah.
Gives that number away to the therapist so he can make sure that his daughter is taken care of. Everyone leaves promptly. Mm-hmm. They steal his money. And, he sort of falls back asleep and he's like, okay, now I just wait. But time goes on and he finds himself sort of sweating. The room's getting hotter. He wakes up. He's like yelling for people and no one's coming. On. He gets up, like finds the door, like goes out there, and it's just this dingy office room with like a flickering light, and there's no secretary. And he's like, what the fuck? And then he leaves that room and he's on a fucking rooftop.
Dude, they did the hangover on him.
Yeah. He's on like the rooftop of a building, some industrial building somewhere. The doctor's office he was in is fake. It's a trailer that they just put up there.
And that's when you learn quickly.
Yeah.
It's all fucking fake.
And this is the part that I really had a problem with. Immediately, as the audience is like piecing together what's happening, they just start doing a voiceover of Frank explaining the twist.
Just fully, okay, in case you didn't get any of this, here's the whole story.
It's him like reading a letter that he wrote to him, and he's like, hey, Frank, you're probably waking up by now. I guess you've noticed this isn't a real hospital room. I have to say sorry, but wasn't it you that always told me if you have a big opportunity, go big?
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, let me figure it out.
We were talking about this recently. Let us think for our fucking selves.
Yeah.
Dude, it's these old kind of action-y movies. It's just most movies that we've been watching recently that are like pre-2008 do not allow you to think for yourself. Some of them, adaptation was great, but like,
yes,
it's just like the majority are just so ham-fisted.
Charlie Kaufman is a special breed.
Exactly. But yeah, it's an overarching theme with these older movies. They didn't trust audiences.
No, they're just telling us what happened. It's like, at least give me 2 minutes to like piece it together.
Yeah, a little time.
It's happening right away. There's just this voiceover explaining the twist as you're seeing Nicolas Cage's character sort of bewildered, walking around, like seeing more. It's like that would be the perfect time for my brain to be connecting these dots and figure it out. And then I'd have this feeling of satisfaction as I start to remember moments in the movie and piece them together and be like, oh, yeah, that didn't make sense. And this, that connects there.
And it gets even worse. It's like Frank leaves some little clues in every single location he can look. There's one in his dog safe. There's one in his lockbox. Like, enjoy my gift. This is the last thing you'll get.
It's so annoying.
I know, man.
They don't trust us to figure it out. And once it happens, it's not that hard to get.
No,
that's
of course
a pretty
not.
Like simple twist. We're not talking about M. Night Shyamalan here.
And it's just to the detriment of the movie, the whole experience. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm tired. Maybe that's just us. Maybe some people really do need to have it like Mac and Charlie and have it spelled right out. But
maybe a lot of Americans are big dumb idiots and don't need to be listening to our podcast. I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
Yeah. Well, the ones who we love know that we love them.
Yeah, the ones that we love and listen to us are smart, beautiful people with the intelligence. The intelligence, doctors say that they have got some of the most intelligence, and they don't need voiceovers.
No, they don't.
To tell them the plot of movies.
No, they don't.
They're just
smart cookies.
Yeah, our audience is smart. They get it.
They get it. They're really excited for the next movie we're going to watch, too.
Yes, which is no longer Lord of War.
Fuck Lord of War.
Woo!
Yeah, I don't care. Mandy, dude.
We're going in modern era. We've got 5 movies lined up.
Are you ready for a psychedelic horror thrill ride?
Let's take acid.
Let's not take acid.
Holy shit, that would be a nightmare.
That would be such a bad time.
No, I'm ready. I'm super ready. It feels weird entering to the last chapter of this season.
Definitely. It's been such a wonderful and fun new journey to be on.
Yes. But the modern era is upon us.
Yes, it is.
That internet thing, it's a fad, though.
Seriously.
I don't get it.
Never going to catch on.
Never going to catch on. Mandy is forever.
Yeah, man. Do you want to talk about the movie we saw today at all?
Oh, Civil War.
Yeah. Alex Garland.
Let's give it a couple minutes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think? First impressions?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Superbly directed.
Mm-hmm. Technically, superb.
Yeah, like
My
the
God.
shot style, the way that the sound and music and camera work all work together. Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful piece of art and a powerful experience.
For sure.
I'm still digesting the themes and ideas.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to take away from it in terms of thinking about information in the modern world.
Yeah.
Hence the heavy focus on journalism and media and war. He doesn't make any strong political statements or social statements.
I think
really.
I think it still serves slightly as just also a warning, generally.
Yeah, well, it's definitely capturing the zeitgeist of the current cultural fascination and obsession with
without being super political, which is a powerful thing to do. I don't know if I could do something like that. That's so intense. It
takes
writing.
Discipline.
Yeah,
but people are, we're obsessed right now with the idea of like society collapsing and falling into World War III and a civil war and
the idiocy of being in a two-party
and the possibility of like one of those both sides believe the other president would take a third term. We're in a level of paranoia right now where nobody trusts anybody. So
for sure,
this movie captures that paranoia and capitalizes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For better or worse, it's definitely like a tactical choice by the filmmaker to capture our imagination.
But I think it was handled with grace. You know, they didn't take it lightly. They didn't treat it like a joke. They did not do what this movie did, and they didn't fucking write you a letter.
Yeah. No, I mean, if anything, they under-explain what's going on. Mm-hmm. They leave it up to interpretation, which is what I was sort of starting on earlier. Is like the idea that there's a narrative is wrong in today's world. That's, I think, like the main takeaway of the movie for me, at least where I'm sitting currently, is that no matter what journalists you follow or media, like those people too are in the story.
Yeah, of course.
And so they all have perspectives, and there is no one story that you can neatly follow.
Of course not.
It's not like there's these clean sides. It's just sort of like people's lived experiences clashing together and like creating chaos.
Absolutely. It's everyone's own little bubble crashing into everyone else's.
Right.
And blending together and separating into little groups. I liked it.
Yeah. There's some cool concepts that get explored in there. Like the one guy who's asking him, what kind of Americans are you? Mm-hmm. And they're all from different states.
Good actor.
He is. He's also in Fargo.
Black Mirror. He's in one of my favorite episodes, USS Callister.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a good fucking episode. Yeah.
I love Fargo.
I've never seen Fargo.
Die.
Really? Is it that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
That's the movie or the show?
The movie's from the 90s.
Yeah.
The show is from the late 2010s.
Is he in the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
The show is executive produced by the Coen Bros, who made the movie, so it's got their stamp of approval.
Cool.
And it's very the first season is very faithful to the movie.
Cool.
And then everything from there branches off of the first season.
Nice. Should I watch the movie first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but you should.
Cool.
It's just better.
Backstory,
Yeah.
I like information.
It's just one of those things where you can appreciate what they're doing in the show more if you know the movie.
Yeah. Cool.
It just works better.
I will watch it because you're like the fifth or sixth person to tell me that Fargo's very good. So.
It's very good.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Yeah.
Just when I still
Billy Bob
Thornton did?
Thornton is the villain.
Really? Okay.
He's a psychopath, dude.
Nice.
It's incredible, and he's got a horrible haircut.
Yummy.
Music to my ears.
Yeah, that's literally.
Give me Billy Bob with a bad haircut.
That's that shit that I like.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
Oh yeah, we're definitely done talking about Matchstick Men.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie, but yeah, I'm gonna give it like at its highest a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm hovering right there. Could be, depending on my mood, higher or lower.
I don't think it's below a 5 in that for something to be below a 5 for me, I had to not enjoy it.
I have to actively dislike it. Yeah. 5's indifferent, belows don't like. Yeah.
I'm feeling a light 6 of enjoyment because it was fun. There's a lot of laughs and there's a lot of quirkiness and charm.
Decent Cage level.
You can analyze his hairline with ease.
It's really easy to see. It's clear as day.
It's so deeply receded. But yeah, check out Civil War.
Definitely.
Check out Fargo.
Worth seeing in theaters as well.
Yeah.
This is not going to be...
You will already have missed your window by the time
you saw this in theaters, let us know.
Congratulations.
Cool, man.
All right, people.
Yeah.
We'll tune in next week for Mandy. Fuck yeah.
Sweet. Booty Boys, out.
Booty Boys bouncing on out of here. Bye.
Nicolas Cage, he's Nicolas Cage, yeah. A strong hairline, stronger cravings. Got tricks up his sleeve cause he's depraving. He'll steal all of your life savings. All fake Tourette's he can't contain. Manic outbursts drive him insane. Wipe your feet, take off your shoes. Just found out he has a daughter to lose. Matchstick Men, he's in it for the long con. Matchstick Man, or maybe he's just a pawn. Matchstick Man, his daughter's only 14. Matchstick Man, the actress is 24. Flaws and quirks he covers up. He'll ruin life for just $1. He thinks he's a good person, but he sucks. How could this man raise a daughter? His partner in crime looked him right in the eye and told Nicolas Cage a dirty, rotten lie. He thinks they're a team, but it's just a bad dream when he wakes up with the old hangover supreme. Matchstick Man, he's in it for the long con. Matchstick Man, or maybe he's just a pawn. Matchstick Man, his daughter's only 14. Matchstick Man, the actress is 24. Matchstick Man, he's in it for the long con. Matchstick Man, or maybe he's just a pawn. Matchstick Man, his daughter's only 14. Matchstick Man, the actress is 24.